Hi, this is Dan from Inclusion Space. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about something called reverse inclusion, or also known as reverse mainstreaming. Um, um, the idea behind reverse inclusion is that uh, you would have students from the general education setting coming into the special education setting to um, work with or to be with students who need special ed services in the special ed environment. So it's kind of similarly to inclusion, where you'd have students in special ed going to the general ed setting. You just flip it and have the other way around. Now, why would you do that? There's different reasons people do that. One reason is that it might be an opportunity to work in small groups with a small group of general ed students, or even one-on-one on very specific content, where they wouldn't be involved in a larger classroom, and they could get specific on maybe a social skills lesson, or an academic activity that could be done in a small, quiet setting where there would be less distractions. That's one reason why people do it. Another would be to just work on. It's kind of a baby step toward regular inclusion. I've seen programs use it to kind of foster relationships between kids in the general ed and kids in special ed. And it's a setting where people can come together and play games, or work on specific academic skill sets, like reading aloud together, working on math together, and you would also use it sometimes if there's excuse me, if there's limited resources in a program. If it's difficult to get a kid included for whatever reason, it might be more doable to get kids from the general ed into the special ed classroom for either for mobility reasons or behavioral reason. Maybe it's very disruptive, for example, to have somebody come into from the special ed program to come into the general ed, for maybe there's a behavioral issue, or maybe there's an emotional concern that the families have, or the parents have, or this, that the team has decided the student needs to spend more time in the special setting. Well, there's an opportunity to have interactions and build relationships with students from the school as in the larger sense, from the general ed, through reverse inclusion. Where it works is that you definitely have kids getting to know each other more, who otherwise would not be having a chance to get to know kids from the general ed. So that when they're in the hallway, at least they know each other's names. There's an opportunity to work on knowing each other's names and getting to know what people like and what they do, and building opportunities to develop friendships and relationships. Where the shortcomings are, it would be that it's not as all-encompassing as an inclusion setting, in that the learning targets, the standards, the content, the large group setting, the general ed teacher, all of that is unavailable in the reverse inclusion scenario. That's available in the general ed setting. So if you want to get that kind of situation, you'd have to have regular inclusion going on with best practices in place, whether it's collaborative teaching, where the general ed teacher and the special ed teacher work together in concert to educate all the students in the class, or whether there's appropriate adaptations and accommodations and modifications in place of curriculum and placement and seating and behavioral management strategies in place. All of those things can happen in a inclusive setting. I think more readily than in a reverse inclusion situation. Although it is, like I said, it's a baby step toward inclusion. If the school hasn't even begun inclusive practice, that's one way that you can very quickly and easily get relationships started between students. And I think a lot of times if there's a behavioral issue or if a student seems particularly disengaged socially or academically, oftentimes there's a knee-jerk reaction or an assumption that students will just be in a separate setting, a special ed setting for more shelter, for more, at worst, I guess, at best for individualized opportunity, at worst to just keep them contained. So that's not the goal. That should not be what the goal is for a student's day, just to keep somebody contained. It should be to provide them with a rich experience where they are part of a community, where they have access and opportunity to learn and to socialize and develop as a part of the school. So I'm going to leave the final word on is it appropriate for reverse inclusion, reverse mainstreaming? Is that an appropriate practice? I'm going to leave that up to you. Leave your comments below. If you have thoughts, weigh in, please. I'd like to know your opinion on it. And please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Let me know, do you think, in my opinion, it's not a substitute for an inclusive, holistic, inclusive environment. However, like I said, I believe that it could be a baby step or just something a place to get started if you're working from scratch and you don't have anything in place where kids are completely separate and sheltered. So those are my thoughts for now. Like I said, let me know your thoughts and I'll talk to you soon.